These UFOs are out here, man, and I want to find them.
Perhaps no one spends as much time on skyward mysteries as Jeff Woolwine.
But when these lights come on, it's like somebody with a switch on a wall. Boop. Here we are.
Woolwine's tours are free too, and you're free to believe or not.
Jeff Woolwine, the first person to do this. I think he's as honest as the day is long.
He describes his guests as top-notch, credible, and says Woolwine is one of the good guys.
Whether you believe in UFOs or not, there is something here. And they were here a long time ago. And their sightings is recorded on the mountain.
How's everybody doing today? We're going to try this again. Been having some technical difficulties with the internet. So we're going to try this one more time, going live. And so welcome back to the Petroglyphs in the Sky UFO show. I'm your host, Jeff Woolwine. Glad you guys are here again. Those of you who have been trying to watch the show without any interruptions. I know how you feel. So, yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties out here in the studio. But I think we got the bugs worked out. Looks like the stream is going fine. So, on with the show. Okay, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The one down below. It's the YouTube, The Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. Now, when you search it on YouTube and you just find Petroglyphs in the Sky without the Phoenix Lights in it, that is the wrong channel. Do not subscribe to regular Petroglyphs in the Sky. That is not me. That is a hacker. Okay, that is somebody out that is pretending to be me. That is not me. So when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, make sure it says the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. It's all one word. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, here we go. Woo! Boy, did I just get dizzy on that. Okay. Let's move along. All right, so the Vulture City Ghost Tour is going on again this year in 2021 out there. Oh, my God, I can't believe I forgot where it's at. So Vulture City out there in Arizona. Winslow? I forget. But yeah, I'll be making an appearance out there, and I'll be doing a not only will I be doing a ghost hunt out there. Those of you who have been following me on my ghost page on YouTube, there's a link down below on this YouTube channel to Haunted Encounter Adventures. Make sure that you subscribe to that also. That's my ghost hunting adventure YouTube channel. So make sure that you go subscribe to that. And so also at the Vulture City mines out there in Arizona, the Vulture City Paracon 2. I'll be making an appearance out there. I'll actually be doing a sky watching event. So we're going to go out there and we're going to talk about UFOs, and we're going to look for UFOs in the sky out there at Vulture City Mines. I keep wanting to say Prescott, but I'm not sure. I don't think that's it, right? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. So, yeah, get a hold of Jay and Marie Yates. They do the ghost tours out there at Vulture City. And so, yeah, it's going to be a great time out there. Make sure you get your tickets early, because I'm sure that with COVID going on, it's going to be limited seating. So make sure you get your tickets and get a chance to be a part of the Vulture City Paracon Part 2. And I'll be signing books out there. And so make sure you bring your copy of your book. And yeah, I'll be doing book signings out there, and we'll be talking about UFOs. We're going to be doing our own little ghost hunt. So it's going to be a great night. October 9th, 2021, Vulture City Mines, Vulture City Paracon Part 2. So make sure that you join us for that special event. And like I said, get your tickets early. Okay, so I want to say I got a new sponsor, the AAG Networks. Thank you guys so much for having me on your network. Excuse me, on your channel. So it's a great honor. And so yeah, I'll be be doing videos on that. And so make sure that you guys check out the AAG network. And boy, you know, I just can't just get over being dizzy moving around the camera. Okay, thank you guys so much for having me. And so yeah, let's talk about the book. I have a book out. It's called The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix, Volume 1. Now, this isn't just a regular UFO book. This talks about the first park ranger, Charles Holbrook, back in the 1930s, who actually knew about the spirits of the earth and sky, who knew about the tombs on South Mountain, and goes into the Phoenix Lights, what the Phoenix Lights really is. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but yeah, you can pick up this book on eBay, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, and I don't make any money from this. I never have. It's not about the money. It's about getting this credible information to you, to the public, because this is not hearsay like a lot of these other people want you to believe. This is facts. This is true stuff that's going on here in Phoenix. It talks about the lost history of Phoenix, Arizona that I have uncovered through the first park ranger, Charles Holbrook, and also the hiking on South Mountain over the 15 years of research I have done on the Phoenix Lights and the lost history of Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, this book is a nonprofit book for me anyway. All the proceeds go to the foster kids in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's why I told the publishers to send my money, because I don't want to see a dime of it. I want it to go to the foster kids in Phoenix, because I am a foster child myself. So I'm kind of giving back to the community. All right, so the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix, Volume 1. And I hope to get Volume 2 out shortly, but you can see most of the information in Volume 2 on my website down below on this YouTube channel. The Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. Make sure you see Petroglyphs in the Sky, or excuse me, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky. It's on my link down below in my YouTube channel. All right, let's get this show on the road. Okay, so we're going to talk about, we're going to show a video. I took a friend of mine, Chase, and his daughter up on South Mountain, on the east side of South Mountain. We're going to show a video of that, and we're going to be talking about the petroglyphs, things like that. And so yeah, let's get into some of these petroglyphs real quick, because I am kind of pressed for time. This is my third time trying to do this episode, so yeah, I kind of want to get this through before my internet runs out. Okay, so this is part of my book. This is on South Mountain. And this is how to pretty much understand the petroglyphs. So when you look at the petroglyphs, you have to look at the whole landscape. Okay, so what this petroglyph is talking about. So let's start with the right yellow arrow. Okay, so it's pointing to this hill. Okay, so when you look behind this rock here, right, it's talking about these hills, these two arrow hills. Behind this boulder, behind this rock. You see the two arrows up on top? So it's talking about these two hills. So these two arrows is actually the arrows on the bottom. The two arrows on the bottom is actually representing the two arrows up on top, if you can understand that. So the petroglyphs of the deers walking, see the trails? You see how how it curves up? We're looking at the right hand yellow arrow right now, and it kind of curls up, and it's the deer. So the deer is actually making the canyon. Here we go on the left arrow, and we can see this deer in his tracks. So he's actually they're making the canyons. All right, so and the two arrows up above, all right, is the canyon, is the hills. You get it? So, and now, okay, now we know that these are regular deers, okay? We understand that these are regular deers. How do we know this? It's because look at the deer's feet, okay? See the deer's feet on how they're going the same direction? That's how we know when a petroglyph is talking about an animal and not a anthropomorph, in which the archaeologist likes to call shapeshifters, or to us in the Native American community call the shapeshifter entities UFOs or creatures, or light beings, because they're shape-shifting into animals, serpents, quetzalcoatl, diamonds, crooked snakes. They like to look like sometimes like coyotes and things like that. So this right here, what this is talking about, this is on South Mountain, and what this is talking about is these deers are making the canyons, okay, with their trails, and then up in the middle of this canyon, up in the middle, up here, up on top between these two yellow arrows, is a creature, is a UFO entity. And how do we know that? Because look at its legs. You see how they're kind of going different directions there? That is one way that we can tell that this is not a regular animal, is because of the way the legs are shaped. So basically, and we got these guys over here to the right, and he's kind of hunting the deers. But basically, this is talking about the whole landscape, if you will. Because when you look at the petroglyphs, you have to look at the whole landscape, because that is what the artist is wants you to understand. He's telling you, look, this creature, this UFO entity came out of it came out of this canyon. Okay, so the deers on both sides, left and right, are making the hills, and then this UFO creature is coming out of the canyon. And he just happens to look like a deer because he's in the sky. He's in the sky. So that's telling me that this is one of those anthropomorphs. That's one of those UFO creatures that actually is coming out of the canyon. All right, because these things are attracted to South Mountain. Why? Why are they attracted to South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona? It's because this mountain was created by a fault line. All right, and that's what these Phoenix lights, that's what these UFO entities, these creatures in the sky is drawn to, is attracted to, this energy. Okay, so these spirals are representing doorways. Okay, so for instance, if a spiral is going down, then the doorway is either that crack in the stone, right? That crack in the stone, or it's that whole land right there, or it's the canyon. It's that whole canyon down the side of the mountain. You see a bunch of spirals going down that canyon, that is a massive doorway. All right, now the Indians say that they're going down into the underworld. All right, but on a scientific level, on a scientific understanding, they're going down into these fault lines on where the energy is generated at. They're after the energy. They're after the energy sources around the earth. Okay, and those of you who have been following me all these years know that I talk about the changing of the sun, the seasons, the equinox and the solstice. Okay, and a lot of these archaeologists, want you to believe that these light and shadow panels, like Stonehenge, when the sun is going up in between the rocks there, they want you to say, oh, it's time to plant corn. Okay, no, it has nothing to do with planting corn. It has nothing to do with time to start gardening. Okay, it has everything to do with these creatures in the skies. Okay, because the sun is changing positions each season. Now, when the sun gets in the right position over these natural energy sources around the globe, such as like fault lines and ley lines and things like that, when the sun gets in the right position of these lines, all right, these energy sources, it opens up this doorway. All right, that's what the Indians say. It opens up. It's like a fusion effect. It opens up these doorways and it attracts these entities to these places where the sun is aligned with these energy fault lines. All right, and then after the equinox or after the solstice, wherever position that you're at in the earth, they go away. So, for instance, here in Phoenix, Arizona, so we saw the Phoenix lights, and they were here in March All right, so and then like after this equinox or after the solstice, right, they go away. Where did they go? They either went to Florida, they went to the other side of the world. They're over there in Russia, they're over there in Israel, they're over there in Iraq. All right, they're over there in Japan. Okay, but then when the sun changes, you know, during the seasons, they follow the sun and they follow the energy sources. So that's the reason why, you know, sometimes we see a lot of them over here. And then all of a sudden they're kind of gone, and now they're showing up over here, right? It's because the sun has moved. The sun has moved positions and is over different energy sources, different energy lines, different energy ley lines or energy lines or fault lines. This is the reason why we see a lot of these creatures coming and going from volcanoes. All right, so this is not spaceships that we're dealing with here. These are not crafts. All right, I was the first one to bring this to the UFO community in 2005 when I first discovered this in Phoenix, Arizona, watching these creatures coming and going from this mountain out there. You know, I'm like, dude, this is not technology here. This is not nuts and bolts that I'm witnessing. All right, I stayed there many, many years. I watched these creatures come and go from the skies of Phoenix, going down into that mountain. They're not landing. They're going in the door. They're going in that fault line. All right, they're going in those spiral doorways, those cracks. So if the spiral ends down, then there's a doorway right there. And a lot of the interpretations is that crack in the boulder. So if the spiral ends in the crack, they're absorbing themselves into that crack. They're going in that mountain. All right. I have witnessed this. I have filmed this. Those of you who have been following me all these years know this to be true, that I have proof that these things are coming and going into South Mountain, and they're leaving from the inner core of South Mountain. They're coming and going from that fault line. In 2004, all right, I videotaped these Phoenix lights all summer over this power plant that's bored down into the fault line of South Mountain on the east side. Those of you who live in Phoenix, Arizona, or even still, look it up on Google Earth. Okay, find South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. Go to the east side. Find Ray Road. Okay, once you find Ray Road, zoom in, look for that power plant. There's a big electrical power plant there, and it's bored down into that fault line. All right, and that fault line is generating the energy to turn on most of the grid here in Phoenix, Arizona. Not all of it, but you know, some of the grid here in Phoenix. And so yeah, you know, at that time that power plant was active. 2004. These lights was attracted to that source. Those of you who've seen my videos know this to be true. And you know, these lights they pop in the sky very silently, you know, so they don't get noticed. All right, that's one way on how they're being stealthy in the sky, is because they don't want to be noticed, but they just want to come in and suck up that energy real quick, right? So this is like an intergalactic gas station, if you will. So they're here to absorb the energy. This has been going on for thousands of years. This isn't anything new. All right, these lights, these entities, these creatures, not crafts, not little gray guys, but these living beings, these light beings, these creatures, these flying serpents, these crazy things we see in the skies today are not spaceships. These things are alive. They're living creatures. I've seen them, videotaped them, witnessed them so many times in my life. I was born and raised in Phoenix, man. I've been seeing these creatures ever since I was a kid. All right, and when I went to go investigate them, this is the evidence that I was finding, that this isn't nuts and bolts. There's no evidence of a spaceship going over Phoenix, Arizona, March 13th, 1997. That's a bunch of hearsay, dude. There's no evidence of that. All right, but what we do have is the lights on the west side of Phoenix, between the South Mountain and also the Australia Mountains on the west side. Australia in India means excuse me, in Spanish means star. So we got Star Mountain, interesting, and then we have South Mountain. And those lights, there wasn't a V shape. There's no evidence of that. The only evidence that can be proven is an arc between South Mountain and the Australia Mountains, and that's it. And then they disappeared. They absorbed the energy. They're saying, oh, this massive craft went over Arizona. Bullshit. There's no evidence of this. Okay, we have no proof. my whole point on that, if a handful of people, because we only have like 4 videos, right? 4 videos that we can prove on what actually happened March 13th, 1997. There's only 4 videos. And that was filmed on the far west of Phoenix, Arizona. Way the hell over there, dude. So my point is, if a handful of people can film lights far west of the valley, then why couldn't a handful of people film a gigantic object going like 2 miles, what was it reporting, 8 miles an hour in a V-shaped craft, miles long? Nobody can pick up a camera. Oh my God, right? I've been doing this for many years, all right? Over 20 years. I've been looking into the Phoenix Lights case, dude. I'm expecting spaceships, right? No. When I did my investigations, I'm the only one has actually proven this. I'm the only one that has actually gone out on the mountain and studied the Phoenix Lights on a nightly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. All the time, I discovered that these lights are not crafts. You see 5 lights out there, you're looking at 5 living entities, 5 living creatures, okay? These are not spaceships. These things are alive, and they're here to absorb the energy. Point blank. And I'll give you another secret, dude. They're not from another world. This is their planet also. All the evidence, all the research, all the history of the world talks about these creatures. And they're not from another planet. This is their planet also. Okay, let's get on to this. Okay, so this is on South Mountain, and this is a cage that the first park ranger, Charles Holberg, did. Now, the city of Phoenix doesn't even want to admit that the Spanish conquistadors ever came through the Valley of the Sun. But Charles Holberg, the first park ranger, knew this to be true. And there's a carving. We're going to look at this carving right here. Here we go. I'm just going to back this up for a minute. We're going to look at this. Okay, so this was found in the Arizona room in the Phoenix Library in a folder tucked away for 80 years, and they don't want the public to know about this. But here you can see Francis de Marcos de Naza. Excuse me if I said that wrong. 1539. Okay, that's one of the Spanish conquistadors. All right, and this is a postcard, and it says Arizona's birthmark. You see that? But yet the archaeologists today don't want to admit that the Spanish conquistadors was ever in this valley. Looking, what are they looking for? The lost city of Cibola, the lost city of gold. Okay, and yeah, you know, when you go to my website down below on my YouTube channel, you can see that link there. You can hit my website, and there you can see talking about, you know, the first park ranger, Charles Holberg, and his writings. His writings, it talks about, you know, the Spanish, talks about the spirits of the earth and sky, talks about the gold that's buried on South Mountain. Okay, so there's so much information that has been covered up and not talked about. And so a little bit of history on this. The city of Phoenix was going to remove that stone, and they were going to put it somewhere else. And Charles Holberg was like, dude, you guys ain't touching this. He actually pulled his guns, his 6-shooters, on these people and saying, look, you're not going to touch this. You know, this is history. You're not going to remove this carving of the Spanish conquistadors. He goes, I don't care if you guys don't believe that the Spanish came this far, but they did, because here's the proof. What was it, 1539? You know? And so actually, it was Charles Holberg that made the city of Phoenix put those bars around that petroglyph, and to this day, that petroglyph is still there. Okay, so, and you can, more of that's in this video that I'm about to show, and you can see more of that, so we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so, when you look at the petroglyphs, what did I say earlier? You have to look at the whole landscape, right? So, for instance, we see this deer petroglyph, right? This is on South Mountain. And you look at his antlers, right? His antlers are all crazy, right? They look kind of weird. Those are actually trail markers that is located behind this marker, behind this boulder, behind this rock. Okay, so when you step back and you look behind this rock, you can see the trails. And the antlers, this deer is depicting trails. And there's a light orb above this, above the deer. So, what this petroglyph is representing, what this petroglyph is talking about, is that these trails is where to find these UFO spirits, these UFO entities. These are sacred trails. That's exactly what this petroglyph is depicting. It's depicting the antlers, the deer, but the antlers is a map. Is a map on where to find more petroglyphs, more of the story, and also to find where to find these UFO creatures at. Okay, here's Charles Holbert. This is the first park ranger. And I go into him a lot in some of my past shows. We won't get into him today. But you can find more information about him on my website down below. Click on this YouTube channel, the links down below. You can get to my website. And make sure that you find, the Phoenix Lights petroglyphs in the sky. If you just see petroglyphs in the sky without the Phoenix light, that is not me. That is someone acting like me. That's not me at all. To actually subscribe to my channel is the Phoenix Lights petroglyphs in the sky. So try to remember that. And I'm trying to get that account taken down, actually, because that is not me. That's a hacker. There's a lot of people out there pretending to be me. And so I am the real deal. This is me right here, live in the flesh. All right, and that's my YouTube channel, the Phoenix Lights petroglyphs in the sky. Okay, so this petroglyph here, look at this. This is on South Mountain. All right, so remember I was talking about the spirals? So here we have this guy, right? Look at the petroglyph, the little guy, and he's going into this hole in the stone. He's going into a doorway. He's going into a spiral doorway. Now, at one time, you can barely see it. You can barely see it, but these actually had spirals carved around it. You can still kind of see the carving of the spiral, but this is actually a doorway. Now, these creatures are coming and going from this doorway, and this guy right here is waiting to go into this doorway of the stone. Here we have a coyote. Look at the coyote there. He has been forever looking up at this doorway, waiting for these spirits, these UFOs, these creatures to come out from the underworld, come out from the fault line energy, and to make their appearance known. And here on the bottom, see, now look at this. This is carved on the bottom because the artist is trying to tell us that these creatures here on the bottom is inside the stone. They are in the underworld. This is why they're carved down here on the bottom, because that represents them being in the underworld. They're under the rock. All right, now see the squiggly lines and things like that? All right, are these spaceships? Are these crafts? No, these are living creatures. These are living beings, and this is how they look. All right, when you see an anthropomorph shapeshifter carving, petroglyph carving on the rock, that's a photograph, man. That's not just some Indian on peyote. All right, it's not some high Indian, some drunk Indian carving graffiti. No, dude, he's telling us this is what these creatures look like. This is what his gods look like. This is what these creatures look like. Do they look like spaceships? No. Do they look like little green guys from Alpha Centauri? No. Are they reporting? Are they depicting a V-shaped craft going over the city of Phoenix? No. Absolutely not. I've been all over those mountains in Phoenix, all right, for many, many, many years. I have not once found anything that resembles a spaceship. Nothing. Nothing in Phoenix, Arizona resembles a craft. They are talking about living creatures, living entities, flying serpents, okay? The feathered serpent that we read about in Mexico. Quetzalcoatl. I can tell you, I can honestly tell you that Quetzalcoatl is alive and well, and he's flying around the Arizona skies because I have seen him, I have witnessed him, I have videotaped him many, many times. Quetzalcoatl is a real living entity, God, from the ancient ones. This is what we're dealing with here. Not spaceships from another country, from another galaxy, but, living creatures, living entities. And the secret is, they're not from, another world. This is their planet also. They have always been here. This is their home too. This is why we see them. Because they live here. They're not from another world. They live here. This is their planet also. They have always been here. Here we go again. Look at this. This is on South Mountain. We have some Indian guys. Look at this. They're looking up. All right. These are like some of them are regular like Indian guys or Indian stick figures, and then some of them are more supernatural with like the lizard people. Okay, see the guy over here on the bottom left, he's got a tail. Okay, then we have an orb over here, and they're looking up. What are they looking up at? They're looking up at a flying creature. Okay, and we know that this is not a regular animal, because look at its legs. It's kind of hard to see here, and it's kind of hard to see. It was hard to see in the other photograph also. But these legs are going in opposite directions, representing an anthropomorph, representing a shapeshifter creature that was seen in the sky. This is a prehistoric photograph of a UFO sighting. That's exactly what these petroglyphs are representing here, especially on South Mountain. Now there are other mountains around the world that are depicting regular everyday life. Some is ceremonial, where we see the kachinas. Some are hunting and gathering, things like this. Some are just deers with butterflies, stuff like that. The sacred mountains that you want to look for, the sacred carvings, are the spirals. Okay, look for spirals. Look for anthropomorphs, shapeshifters, creatures that have opposite feet. Okay, once you see that, once you see the opposite feet going in different directions, then you know that's a creature. That is a UFO entity. That is a UFO being. Here we go again. Here we go, a spiral. This is on South Mountain. And look at that creature coming out of the spiral, coming out of the doorway. Now let's look at this. So this spiral is going counterclockwise, it looks like. And when a spiral is going counterclockwise, it's a doorway out. When a spiral is going clockwise, it's a doorway in. When a spiral is going counterclockwise, it's a doorway out. Okay, when a spiral ends down, it's either going to represent that crack in the stone is the doorway to the underworld, or the whole ground itself. All right, so these things are actually coming up, they're absorbing themselves out of the rock or into the stone or into the ground. I have seen this, I have videotaped this many times, that these things are coming and going from the mountains. They're not landing, they're going in. And I understand why the Native Americans call these spirits, because when you see them in the sky, they're like solid. They're a solid like object, right? They're changing colors, they're changing shapes, right? And when they come down from the sky and start to recede down on the mountain, then you can see through them. They start to change. They're like a spirit. You can see through them. And as they go across the mountain and then they come down on the rocks, they absorb themselves into the mountain. I have filmed this many times in 2005 and in the present. I have seen this so many times. This is what's going on here. They're going down to the underworld, to the fault line for the energy. So this spiral is going counterclockwise, so it's a doorway out. Now look at this creature. It's like a I want to say like a worm or something. I have filmed worms in the sky many times. Okay, and that's exactly what this is depicting. This is depicting a supernatural worm, if you will, a UFO creature coming out of a spiral doorway. Where do I learn all this? From a Native American, from a downtown museum, a Native American museum who works there, from a Native American shaman who took me up on South Mountain to explain the petroglyphs to me. So I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before. Right? All this information has been tucked away and buried for the last 80 years. This is what I have uncovered. Okay, I'm not saying it. I'm not making this shit up. This shit's real, dude. This stuff can be verified. That's what makes this investigation so credible. It's because all this information isn't new. It's just been covered up and not talked about in 80 years, right? No one has talked about this in 80 years. I am bringing this information back to you, and for you to understand what these petroglyphs mean, to understand what the Phoenix Lights really is, from someone who has been up on the mountain for over 15, 20 years now, who has seen these skies, seen these UFOs in the sky, who has filmed them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, who is a native of Arizona. I was born and raised here. I'm not some outlander, coming in and trying to tell you, look, those V-shaped crafts went over Phoenix, There's no credibility, but buy my tickets to my movie theater out there in Harkins Studio in Tempe and buy my books on hearsay and make me famous. Okay, that's bullshit, dude. All right? I have been up on the mountains. I have done my history on Phoenix, Arizona, on South Mountain. I have brought back the true history of Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is a fiery bird that rose up out of the ashes of the formal civilization. But they don't want to tell you who the formal civilization is, right? They tell you there's a Holcomb. Okay, it was a Pima word for the people who are gone, the people who are missing, the people who got taken away, because we don't know what happened to these people. The archaeologist wants us to simply believe, oh, they simply migrated somewhere else because it got too hot, because of drought. Well, if that's the case, where the hell did they go? There's no evidence on where these people went. They were here in the Valley of the Sun for 1,000 years, and then one day they disappeared. Now, when me and you move, we take our belongings with us, right? But yet the Holcombs didn't. They left all their stuff in that Valley of the Sun and simply vanished. They didn't take nothing. They left everything there. More information can be found in this book, in my book, and also from the link down below in my website under Charles Holberg. He tells you what happened to the Holcomb and everything like that, and in my past shows also. But because I want to, but that's basically what's going on here. Okay, so let's talk about this here. Now, this is in my book. This is a petroglyph on South Mountain, and this is a barbell. Okay, this is a barbell, and it looks like there's a guy, right? He's looking out through a window, right? And a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's a spaceship. This barbell is a spaceship, and that's a guy, and it's an alien, and he's looking out a window." Wrong. Wrong. This barbell is a creature, is a living entity. Let's take a look at it right here. I filmed this, in 2005? 2006, excuse me. This barbell UFO I filmed in 2006. This is just of one of many I have seen in the skies. And there's a lot of barbells that are carved on South Mountain. Look at that. And so when we see that petroglyph of this guy, and it seems to be, this guy inside the barbell. Well, this barbell actually absorbed this guy. He actually picked up this guy. All right? This is a regular human. Look at the way that thing just switching around like that. You see that? These things aren't balloons. These things are alive. They know what the hell they're doing. Okay? These things have always been with us in the skies. Look at that. Look how perfectly that thing is, right? See that? That flew by my window. That came off of South Mountain. And this is my kitchen window. I'm looking at, overlooking South Mountain. South Mountain's about a mile away from me. Here it comes again. Here's the sighting again when I first saw it. Look at that. And then here's the barbell there. And the guy is actually inside this creature, inside this living being. So this barbell absorbed this man and took him up into the sky. Charles Holbrook says, the first park ranger from the 1930s, who learned about the tombs on South Mountain, who learned what happened to the Hohokam Indians, who learned about the giants that were here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the Native Americans back in the 1930s, and their ancestors from generation upon generation upon generation was telling the story on who the Hohokam people were and where they disappeared to. Okay, so Charles Holbrook writes this in his journal. Why would he even, say stuff about this if it wasn't true? Now, his son wrote a book after his dad died in the late 40s, 1940s, and he talks about how his dad was protecting the gold tombs on South Mountain from the gold robbers, right? So yes, there is gold there. The history talks about gold being buried on South Mountain. The history talks about why the gold is here in the first place. Okay, all this information is in my website down below on that link there on this YouTube channel, YouTube video. And also in my book. So yeah, these things are not spaceships. These things are alive. We are looking at a living creature here, a living being, a living entity. This is not some craft. We're not dealing with spaceships here. I'm open to that. Don't get me wrong. Okay, the scientists have found like 7, 8 Earth-like planets on the outskirts of our solar system. So what's to say there's some kind of advanced civilization there who has built mechanical spaceships or built some kind of craft to visit Earth? Why not? I get it. I'm open to that. I just don't see any evidence on that. All right, I see a lot of hoax video, CGI video. I see a lot of hoaxed photographs. I even see a lot of hoaxed rock carvings, all right, that people are trying to manipulate this rock art, trying to say it's a spaceship. It's a little green guy with big eyes, with, praying mantis eyes or something, right? There's no evidence of that. There's no proof of that, right? We have to go on what we know and what we can prove. And what we can prove is the petroglyphs, for one, and what we see in the skies. That's why this is called petroglyphs in the sky, right? Is it spaceships in the sky? No, it's petroglyphs in the sky, because that is what we're seeing in the skies today are the petroglyphs that have been carved on the rocks over 1,000 years ago. Some say would even go to say anywhere from 5 to 6,000 years ago. We had some of these petroglyphs of carvings of the exact same things that we're seeing in the skies today. Is it spaceships? Is it little green guys from Alpha Centauri? No. These things are alive. These things are creatures. And that is what we're dealing with here on planet Earth. Until spaceships and green guys can be proven, we have to let that go, keep that in the back of our mind when we finally do realize one is really here, okay, that we can prove. But right now we have to look at the facts. And the facts are talking about these creatures here. Not spaceships, but living creatures, living entities. That's what the Indians saw. They didn't see spaceships. They saw anthropomorphs. They saw shapeshifters. They saw the lights in the sky. The lights in the sky came down, shapeshifted into a man, right? And looked like everyone else and taught these people how to survive. That's in my book, and that's what Charles Holbrook writes. Why would the first park ranger, why would the first park rangers, even talk about this? right? Why would he write this down in his journals? Why would he be telling the public? I do tours on South Mountain. You're going to see a tour here coming up. And he passed out little flyers, and it talks about the lost city of Cibola, the lost city of gold. Right? It talks about what happened to the Hohokam Indians. It talks about the gold that's buried on South Mountain, right? And Charles Holbrook, you know, he was a little guy. He was only like 5'5", you know, but he was very big in the parks and recreation community. All right, he wasn't just the first park ranger of Phoenix, Arizona. His legacy went on through California, Utah, and New Mexico, and other parts of the Four Corners area. I found information on him in some of these libraries in other states of the country. So this guy just wasn't a little guy here in the Valley of the Sun, but he was a big guy in the West Coast area of the United States. Everybody knew who Charles Holbrook was. So why would he be going on and saying about gold buried on South Mountain? Why would he talk about the giants? Why would he be talking about, you know, the Hohokam Indians being taken away by these spirits of the earth and sky? You know, why was he talking about all this crazy stuff if he didn't learn that from the first Indians? And we should. We should take them at face value. I mean, fuck, dude. They were here before us, right? They were here before us. They should know what the hell is going on in our land. We need to take a second look at these guys and start understanding what they're talking about, especially when it comes to the petroglyphs. These are prehistoric photographs, right? They didn't have video cameras back then. That's stone boulders to record their sightings in the places where the events took place at. This is the reason why we find petroglyphs on one side of the mountain, but we don't find any petroglyphs on the other side of the mountain. It's because nothing happened over there. The evidence is where the event, the special place, the sighting, is where the petroglyph stands, is where the petroglyph is. You see a petroglyph, you know, carvings here, that's where everything took place at. You don't see any petroglyphs over here because nothing happened over there. The petroglyphs is a testimony, is a photographic history marker, is a photograph of what happened in that area. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share. YouTube channel, The Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky. Not just petroglyphs in the sky. You find that, you're on the wrong channel. That is not me. Make sure you see The Phoenix Lights in front of petroglyphs in the sky. That is truly me, not the other guys who are pretending to be me. Okay, so these lights right here, these lights were photographed in Phoenix about 5 months ago. Okay, so this is on the west side of Phoenix, Arizona. I had video, but I can't find the video right now. I just remember pulling up these photographs. So this photograph here, see, the lights are still going on today, right? It's not anything new. I mean, 1997, March 13th isn't the only time. Isn't the only time. These lights have always been here. These lights have been here, okay? These lights has always been here. This isn't anything new, all right? And how do we get the videos of March 13th, 1997? Why do we have some of the videos? It's because Skywatchers, there's a guy out there named Tom King. Now, I've never seen him on the news out there in Mesa, Arizona, all right, filming lights on a regular basis, all right? So he was seeing lights days before the 13th of March, 1997. So he was waiting. He's waiting for something to happen. He's a skywatcher like you and me. He's waiting for something. He's got his camera ready, dude. He's ready. And when the Phoenix Lights spread happened that night, he was on it. He filmed it. He got it. You don't hear much about him, do you? You only hear about this Kitai and her hearsay information. You know, that's all you hear. You don't hear, you know, from Tom King anymore, or you don't hear from the other 3 people that filmed the lights, are credible witnesses, not for some hearsay witness, you know, that's trying to say, you know, oh, I filmed the lights, you know, but I don't know what they are, but they're a massive V-shaped craft went over and no proof. I have no proof, but yet buy my book about nothing and buy my movie tickets about me. Look at me, right? You got to get away from these hearsay people, dude. You have to go with what can be proven. And what can be proven are the petroglyphs. What can be proven are some of these scrolls, these ancient scrolls that talk about these things in the sky. Right? If people over 2,000 years ago are talking about the exact same things we see in the skies today, and the carvings are matching what we see in the skies today, but they're not spaceships. They're like flying snakes and worms and diamonds and orbs and lights and crooked things and just weird stuff, weird objects, right? They're live. They're moving like a snake, right? That's not a spaceship, dude. It's not technology, right? They're alive. They're conscious. They know who's watching them. They know who's not watching them. And this has been going on. This has been going on for at least over 1,000 years, maybe even 2,000 years, probably at the beginning of time. This is their planet too. They are not from another planet. They have always been here. They have always been absorbing energy. That's why South Mountain is so special, is because that's what draws these creatures, these phoenix lights, these creatures in the sky to certain places around the earth, is for the energy. Skinwalker Ranch, I proved that. I started talking about these energy factors in 2005 when I first discovered all this, when I first verified it all, and so Skywalker Ranch, they decided to prove my theory, take my theory to the test. All right. So even though there is no petroglyphs on Skywalker Ranch, there are petroglyphs on the outskirts of Skywatcher Ranch. There's canyons and mountains, and there's petroglyphs, and there's UFO sightings, petroglyphs on these existing mountains around Skywalker Ranch, right? And they're sitting right there on a fault line. Okay, so they go and they test my theory. Let's see, season 1, episode 4, Skywalker Ranch. They put these little sensors in these rockets, right? In these model rockets, and they shoot them up, and to see if there's any energy up there, right? Because because they learned from me, when the spiral ends up, it's a doorway, and there's energy in the sky. That means that these lights are just popping up to this doorway through a vortex, and they're absorbing the energy in the sky. So Skywatcher Ranch got a hold of my information and decided to prove that theory. And they launched this rocket up there with sensors, and lo and behold, the cameras caught this light in the sky, right? And the rocket came down, and the sensors said that yes, there's energy up there. All right, but these people still don't get it yet. They still think, well, maybe that UFO light is producing the energy. Maybe it's making the energy, right? They don't understand yet that UFO light is there for the energy, okay? And they still calling that thing a craft. It's not a craft. That light is a living being, is a living creature, all right? That light is the being. It's not technology. There's nobody inside that light. That light is alive. That light's a creature, dude. All right, he's a being, right? And he's there for the energy. He's not there making energy. He's not a spaceship making energy. He is there because of the energy. Check it out, man. They proved my theory that I discovered in 2005. Season 1, episode 4, Skinwalker Ranch. True story. Okay, so here's what I filmed. This is what I filmed, I believe, in 2010. 9, 10? Something like that. And this is the exact same spot on where the 1997 Phoenix Lights happened at. It is going on all the time there. You just got to know when to look and when not to look. All right? And like I said, they follow the seasons. All right? So, and you got to keep your eyes open. And know what to look for. Because of misinformation, disinformation, Hollywood, people selling books about nothing that they understand, stuff that they have no clue on what's going on. People dismiss these lights as flares or balloons, right? Because they have been misled on to look for UFOs, flying saucers, right? Technology, spacecrafts, that's what they're looking for. So when they actually see something like this in the sky, they blow it off and think it's a flare. They blow it off and think it's a balloon. But they are not understanding that these things are alive. They're shape-shifting, okay? They're moving. They're in control, okay? They don't want to believe that yet. There's so many people out there that are so much in denial because, you know, they're just looking for spaceships. They want to believe in spaceships. They want to believe in little gray guys because that is what they understand, right? They understand technology. But when it comes to, let's say, supernatural or living, you know, interdimensional beings, you know, things like that, they just can't comprehend this yet. Right? They're not up there yet. They don't understand this yet because they have been misled for so many years with Hollywood and people selling books trying to say they were from Alpha Centauri and all this crap when they have no proof whatsoever in what they say. We have to go where the credibility lies at, and the credibility is talking about the petroglyphs. The credibility is talking about the ancient scrolls that verify the petroglyphs, because it's crazy, because we can read the scrolls, right, and talks about lights in the sky. Then we can go see the prehistoric photographs carved on the mountains by the Native Americans, right, of the exact same thing of what the scrolls are talking about. And then we see it for our own self. Then we see it for our own eyes. We videotape, we photograph the exact same things in the sky. So we read something from anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 years old. Then we see the photographs from 2 to maybe 5,000 years old. And then today we see the exact same thing in the sky. Now, I'm sorry, that's credibility to me. All right? I mean, holy cow, that's credible to me. That's not hearsay. All right? That's verifiable facts. Okay? Not a V-shaped craft going over Phoenix in which nobody can record. Thousands of witnesses. Not one video. Not one person can record it. But yet there's people out there making money off this. They're making money off hearsay. They can't prove nothing. Is that just crazy or what? Okay, let's get into the video. So I took my friend Chase and his daughter up there, Lacey, up on South Mountain. We're talking about the petroglyphs. And this is on the east side of South Mountain. Now, this also talks about Charles Holbrook. And so, yeah, you'll see the Nausea stone and the bars that Charles Holbrook had the city of Phoenix erect over that petroglyph. That was 80 years ago, and it's still there today. And so, yeah, let's take a look at that video. These rocks, I believe, were placed here.
I see some petroglyphs right there.
Yeah, we're going to see some glyphs right here. Look at those.
Right there. This is massive light channel panel here. Here's we probably show it right there. You know you're around the sacred area when you start to find pottery shells.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Get up there so I can take a picture of you with it.
This is a rather good spot.
sure.
There you go.
Okay, I wasn't really ready.
She's sitting right in front of a spiral too, by the way.
Yeah, she is.
So here we have the barbell formations. We see a lot of petroglyphs and a lot of UFO entities here in Phoenix that represent the barbells. Okay, we have some orbs up there. We have another orb there. Right now we have this serpent over there to the left. Okay, so this is where I've recorded a lot of serpents here in the valley, and that's what that is representing. We also see that type of carving in Mexico. All right, that same serpent. Now this is a light and shadow panel. Now what I mean by that is during the equinox and the solstice, the sun will travel, and you see this stone here? This stone has been placed here on purpose. When the sun comes up this way, it will cast a shadow. Right? It will cut through the serpent. All this is in my book. It'll cut through the serpent, and then eventually it will come down, all the way down to here. It will match this coyote here, and it will come all the way down here, meaning that this is the doorway. This is the major doorway for these spirits. Now, I think during the solstice, it's actually an Indian profile face. So we have two different light and shadows that happen each on different equinox and solstice. We have the regular shadow that comes this way, and then we actually have a shadow of a profile face coming this way. Yeah, she's right in front of the an orb, right there, an orb light. And then over here, in this area here, oh, okay, also look at this now. You see the way this rock is?
Yep.
Okay, now look how it's cut. Okay, this is cut. Actually, what we're looking at is a snake. Okay, this is a snake face, a snake head. This is his mouth. All right, I'm sitting in his mouth now. He's eating a stone. This stone has been placed here also. Now, at one time, I did see a man carved on here, representing that this serpent is eating a man. I can't find it right now. But there was a carving of a man, just because in it right here. But they cut and shaved all of this to represent a snake. So the snake is coming out of the rock. He's eating this boulder. Now on the other side over here, we have these spirals. We have a spiral, right, representing a doorway. And then we have some energy lines, or energy type markers, okay, representing the energy. And we have a coyote looking this way. Now, these spirits, these UFOs, they come and go from rocks, okay, from stones. Now, when you look in between this boulder here, you will see an entity UFO right in the middle there. And that's what it's representing. So it's telling us that this crack is the doorway for that spirit. Neat, isn't it?
Jim. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
There's another one right over here.
Yeah.
And then on the other side,
Right,
if you
yeah,
go on the
right,
back
that
side,
way.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty cool.
There's a bunch right over there too.
On the back.
Nothing?
You see
So
these
just-
this hill right here?
Yeah.
If you
There's
search,
a bunch on that too.
If you search on your local bookstores here on the internet and stuff, petroglyphs in the sky, I documented and photographed all the meanings about the petroglyphs here. In
Oh, you
my book.
do?
Yeah.
What's the site?
Petroglyphs in the sky.
That's the way.
Yeah, just how it sounds. It's all run together. Petroglyphs in the sky. And you can find it on Kindle, you can find it on ebooks.
Have you been up to Square Cross?
I've heard of it. I haven't been
There's
there
a
yet.
lot. There's a lot of petroglyphs up there.
Right, yeah, that's a big sacred and holy area right in there, yeah.
Probably the same generation as these guys.
Yeah, same whole era.
So you study the symbols and stuff?
That's right, yeah. In that book, I go into the lost history of Phoenix that has been lost for the last 80 years.
Yeah.
I talk about the holocoms, the first park ranger that was here.
I'm gonna send a picture of to mommy and tell her what this is.
It's not a pregnant. It's not a pregnant lizard man.
Right, there you go.
Or did he just eat like God?
He ate God. Oh, wow, look at these stairs. Well, I know they built these stairs, but this is cool.
What is this right here?
What was that supposed to be?
That's like one of those spirits.
Oh.
Oh, there's this
Okay, babe. I want you up here before we start talking.
Okay.
Is this? Oh, it is. This is the one. Yeah, okay. What is, what's under that UFO? Is that a goat or a coyote? The one that's right there.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that again.
Wait, I want to see the
Okay, record.
thing.
Oh, it was on record is red, right?
Yeah, you already recorded. Okay, so for years, all right, centuries, even to this day, it's always been a controversy that the Spanish conquistadors ever arrived here in Phoenix, Arizona. But here we have a carving of Fractestinaza. Okay, now there's a date there of 1539, I believe it is.
Where's that
Now,
Okay.
now this is all controversial. I mean, to the archaeologists to this day, does not admit that this is real. Now, the first park ranger, okay, his name was Charles Holbert. This is all in the book. it talks about what he accomplished.
Sit down.
Now, back in the early or the late 30s, the city of Phoenix was going to come up here and remove this stone.
Wow.
And he was like, "No, you are not touching this stone." He actually pulled guns on the construction workers that he's going to remove this stone. It was a big deal at that time.
And who was this? The first park ranger?
Charles Holbrook, the first park ranger, yes. He understood South Mountain. He understood the natives. The natives confided in him on the tombs that were here, the gold that was here, the spirits that is protecting the gold, the tombs, and the sacrifice that went on here, and the Phoenix Lights, and all this. The Indians confided into Holbrook, and so he knew what was going on here. Matter of fact, he was in charge of keeping people away from the tombs, from digging up the tombs. And so the city of Phoenix was going to come in here and remove this. And he pulled guns on the construction workers, and it was a big deal. And a few days later, they had a big meeting in the city of Phoenix.
That's really cool, isn't it?
And they said, "Okay, okay, Charles, we're
Pretty
going to do
view
something
of
forever
California's
protect this."
state, Arizona.
Hey, babe. We're gonna do something to forever protect this. And so, at that time, Charles thought it was gonna be a gunfight up here. You know, he was about ready to go to war over the stone. He had no idea what the city of Phoenix had in mind. So he was up there getting ready to ambush them, and they came up here with the trucks, and they were the ones that erected these bars up here. They put these bars on here. They put this concrete. You can see this is 1930s concrete here. They constructed this whole wall of concrete. Look how old this concrete is.
Yeah.
They made these steps coming up here, right? They forever immortalized this area here because of Charles Holbrook. He was the one that kept this story alive.
Good.
All of this is in the book. It's all documented.
So is this the Charles Holbrook that Holbrook is named after?
No.
No. Much older then.
Yeah.
Just this question I was
Yeah,
curious.
that's a good question too. She was asking me about it too. You know.
Hey, it doesn't hurt to ask.
No.
Sure, right? That's right.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
Basically, what all this is this is the first carvings of the.
I have a question about something that I see right here. Does it look like something's been chipped out right here?
Yeah, when you notice around all petroglyph sites, pretty much some of the story has been removed. Some people like to take them home. Some people like to take the story away. You know, because at the time they wanted to make this a family park. So depictions of demonic creatures and sacrifice just didn't add up to the family type atmosphere. So they had to clean up the park. That's their little word they like to call it. Their special word. They clean up the park, right? Which means remove petroglyphs, remove the meetings of the petroglyphs, remove the demonic figures, you know, and the sacrificing things that were being down here.
That's called graffiti.
Yeah, that is.
I want to take this home. Pretty.
Okay, yeah, so, you know, for years, too, even with Holbrook back in the day, it was just a myth that the Spanish erected 4 crosses. And until one day he was high up, his story goes on to say, I found some paperwork on Holbrook, and he says he was high up on the summit, and he looked down on the sun-blackened rocks, and lo and behold, he saw the 4 crosses. And he says it must have took a mighty army to construct these crosses because they were so huge. And for years, he kept this a secret only to himself, until later on the city of Phoenix made a new map of South Mountain Park, and on that map they put a hill there. And he made the biggest mistake of his life. He told the city of Phoenix and everybody, look, you know what's on that hill? There's 4 crosses on that hill. From the Spanish conquistadors. And so later on, a few nights later, some vandals came up looking for gold. They destroyed the crosses. They dug a hole looking for the gold. They didn't find anything, and they just left a mess rock pile. He was pissed. Okay, I'm getting to that. He was pissed, man, and he wanted the city of Phoenix to come back up here and put those crosses back up here. But the end result was the city of Phoenix did not want to do a dime on it. He said, but if you and your friends want to go up there and make the crosses again, he goes, you guys are welcome to it. So the story goes on to say that it was like a bunch of ants going up this hill and with concrete and rocks and rebuilding the crosses. and the women and some of the children would be down on the bottom with sandwiches and lemonades, and the Boy Scouts were helping him at the time, and he had all these friends, and they made all this construction work, and that's when the story stops. Okay, that's when the story ends. And then later, the city of Phoenix then came out and put another map saying, okay, the first map, the crosses was over here in this area. The second map, they say the crosses are over there in that area. All right, so now there's two conflicting stories here. All right, so I've been to each spot. I've been spending years looking for these crosses. I've examined what the city of Phoenix says that they are. I've examined that area, nothing there. I come over here, but at that time, this mountain used to extend way out further. Okay, and there used to be an air light beacon out there, and right there where the Wrestler's Roost is and stuff. So this mountain was way extended, but they blew all that up. They destroyed all this area to put all these houses in, and the Wrestler's Roost and everything else. And that's when the Indians were so pissed off about this. Right, you know, and I think because the stone is here, the crosses would probably be over there on the east side. And I think when they destroyed the stuff to build the houses and to build the rest of the Jews, they destroyed the crosses too. That's my conclusion.
Very sad.
Because I haven't found them, and I've been looking for years, man. You know.
That's very sad.
And I'm coming to the conclusion, yeah, you know. But even still, like, all right. So if the crosses were, I mean, if the hill is still here, okay, then we should find some kind of evidence of this concrete. You know, we should find the remembrance of the crosses. We should find the stones. You know, if the crosses were destroyed over years, I've been looking for that too, just on a hunch. You know, hopefully, I'm still hoping I'll find it. You know, but I haven't yet. I've been up on these hills, you know, all these hills looking. No, I haven't found it yet. So the only conclusion is they blew it up and they were making the restaurant.
Most likely.
Yeah. Sucks, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, let me turn it off now.
Okay. Talking about these deer?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a glyph right here of what looks like a lizard man. Okay, he's in the appeasement pose or the worship pose. All right, he's oriented this way. Right. And we have these carvings here. Okay. Possibly a UFO. It's not really a spiral. Okay, because it's not connecting. Right. Then we have another orb here. Now, when I was filming the lights out here in 2004, when I zoom in on them, sometimes there'd be a black dot right in the middle of these orange amber lights. Okay, and I believe that's what it's representing. Okay. Here we have another one, not quite a spiral. Here, when people start saying, oh, that's balloons, okay, here we have a cluster that could be representative balloons.
You brought that up.
Yeah.
I said it looked like balloons. That's the closest thing I could say.
Here's a cluster, okay, and this is the entity, okay?
It looks like an angel.
They morph, and they change, and they shapeshift, and they cluster. That video I shot the other day, you can see them coming out.
I don't think he saw that one.
Going back into each other. That's why
It looks like some kind of Skittles all clustered together.
That's what it's representing there. Okay, so we had two, in my book I explained we had two padres that came around with the whole time. And one padre was here to rip off the Indians, okay, and the story goes on to say that, in my book it goes on to say that the Indians eventually ambushed him, dismembered his body, and buried him over there on Four Cross Hill. And the story goes on to say that his ghost, the Padre's ghost, is still here protecting his gold, because no one to this day, supposedly until I came around, nobody to this day has found Padre's cave. And he says to the right person, this ghost will present where this Padre cave is. The story of the ghost goes on to say sometimes he'll follow you with footprints in the sand. He'll walk behind you. And I go into where Padre's cave is in with the book also. So that Padre, he was sacrificed. He was murdered because he was ripping off the people. Now there was another Padre that came around and he saw what was going on here on the glyphs. He saw the sacrifice. He saw the demonic creatures being carved here, and he came around and he blessed most of these petroglyphs around here because he knew in his religion, if you will, that this is one of the spots where the fallen angels were cast down at, and he understood that this is one of the spots where the Nephilim were. So he came around, and this is why you see crosses. When he blessed certain rocks, he put crosses on it. And this is one of the crosses from the Padre. So if you notice, these aren't spiral, but on the back of this stone here is a huge cut dip. And in that cut dip is the spiral, representing the doorway. So the Native Americans, the Indians say that when you see, look at that squirrel.
Squirrel.
Where? Ah.
That's a big one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I see him, but I can't.
Yeah, he's gone over the hill.
Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna get me.
But the Indians say that the spirals where the tracks are the doorways. These spirals that you see with cracks and crevices, and the spirals next to it, that's the emergence point for these stairs. Are you still recording here?
Yes, I'm getting a better angle.
Well,
Okay, I lied. I was gonna chase a squirrel, but.
What I just talked about is in my first book with photographs. You want to chase that squirrel? Because that's where we're going.
Oh, is this where we're going?
Yeah, we're walking around that way.
He knew that. The squirrel knew that.
You know, that's why he's going that way.
Uh-huh.
You want to see me? Come over here.
Careful, huh? It's easier this way, Dave.
Actually, follow him. Follow Jeff. Follow Jeff. He said it's easier that way.
Well, I don't know where he went.
Might do it, Dave.
No, the squirrel.
It's probably up into the rocks where there's a little hidey hole.
Well, he got gone pretty good because I don't see evidence of him moving or out. Yeah, she's okay.
Careful with that plant right there. It'll reach out and bite you.
Where did you go? Well, that's a neat cactus.
And that's kind of represents of it pulsating. This is really hard to see, but it's like a cluster again. And then on the other side,
Yeah, it's not really picking up that good.
on
But
the other side is a great spiral.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And notice how the spiral ends down.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be the area for the doorway. Not the rock itself, or it could be the rock itself, but more or less, but more likely, the ground here in this area. This is the doorway where they come and go from, out from the underworld. This area here.
I'm trying to see if I can sense any energy, and I don't. Well, if I do, I don't notice it.
I think so.
No, because he told me, like I said, when I was talking to him, he told me, you know, what to
see,
watch.
look, that looks like that's
Yeah.
that looks like that's been missing.
Like you said, a lot of it's been taken out.
Yeah.
I believe that too. And if you look the way these rocks are strewn about, this looks like it was destroyed as well.
This is all been collapsed on each other.
Yep.
Can you get these? Can you get that right there, dear? Real quick.
Yeah.
Recording.
Yeah.
Then we have a
Another
living
living
man and another type of pulsating orb here. And then down when we come down through this way over here.
Sorry, there's a bunch more spirals in here.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to show you bottom first.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. Okay.
Alright, so there's that one I wanted to point out. Okay, so like here, okay, it looks like there's three worms, three orbs connected together like a worm. Okay, I filmed that in the sky before. We have some more clusters here. Okay, that to some could represent balloons, but I'm sure the holocaust didn't have balloons back then. They saw,
Bringing that up.
this is what they saw in the sky, and this is what they carved. Here we have another orb here, and another orb here. Unfortunately, this is missing, so we don't know the rest of the story here.
Over here.
Then we have some orbs there. Right. Awesome, isn't it? Yeah.
What's boggling my mind is the amount of destruction that you see with these things.
I know.
Yeah. I know. Okay, so back up to the top. That's neat. Yeah, that's what, two Mustangs and a Red Baron following them?
That's cool.
That is neat. You don't see that every day.
Well, the Red Baron was blowing out smoke as it was coming up.
Yeah.
I freaking missed it. I was trying to get it on my camera, but...
B-17?
Looks like it.
Yeah, that's the one. They go out there to that Mesa Air Force Base or whatever. You can actually take rides on that if you want to pay for it. Yeah.
I heard, and it's not really pricey either. It's only like a few $100 for what I heard. But if it's just you, they won't go out. They have to get a group of people.
Yeah, it's a group, right?
Going to North Dakota.
was scary about the helicopter.
This is a spiral.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ending kind of up. Okay, so what? He's going counterclockwise. So this is a doorway coming
Wait,
out.
hold
So
on.
we have a doorway over there going in. Now this is the doorway coming out. And if you look up on the top here, we see some panels there. This right here looks like the typical, but most people mistaken as a craft in the sky here. Unfortunately, it's not a craft, but it's the UFO entity. And without understanding what these entities are, people would mistake that for a craft.
I can see that.
Up on top here, without saying the word,
All right, enough.
we have these two circles here, and they're connected together, right? Okay, so I've seen these things in the sky, and sometimes this line or this rod will come out of one and connect with the other. Okay, so there'll be two of these barbell shapes, if you will, circular orbs in the sky with a line connected in the middle. And sometimes I'm thinking that line could be them taking energy, sharing energy with themselves back and forth. It's hard to say, but I have filmed this before in the sky, and the holocoms, they saw it and they recorded it here also.
Yeah. That's cool.
Neat, isn't it? Oh, it's a bone. Yeah.
She found a bone?
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably a squirrel.
Oh.
Yeah, probably a squirrel
A
bone.
coyote got it.
Yeah, coyote or something.
That took me a second to figure out what you were saying.
What?
When he said coyote,
Oh, coyote.
that took me a second.
Nice to visit her and say, "Oh, the coyote." She's like, "Coyote, Jack."
It's coyote, Dad. Whoa, I can see how they make gelatin now.
Well, we made it. Everything was going good on the stream, so we didn't get any interruptions. Okay, so that's the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me with this internet problems and technical difficulties and things like that. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time.